Putin announced his intention to use nuclear weapons in the event of a massive launch of military space attack weapons against Russia. This means a catastrophe for all of humanity. There will be no winners in this war. I want to talk about the consequences of nuclear bomb test at Tosk test site in Orenburg region of Russia. This is my small homeland. My late parents were eyewitnesses to those events. The consequences of the explosion affected not only the eyewitnesses, but has affected their descendants to this day. 70 years ago, mass exercises with their use of an atomic bomb were held at the Tosk test site in the Orenburg region. On the morning of September 14, 1954, at 9:30, an atomic bomb was dropped from the height of 9,000 meters. The explosion occurred when the bomb was 350 meters from the ground. Its power was 40 kilotons. This was 2 times greater than the power of the bombs drops on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. At the moment of the bomb explosion, there was a deafening thunder and blinding lightning in the form of a large fireball. The temperature in the center increased from 8 to 25,000 degrees Celsius. As a result, a mushroom stalk with a diameter of 2.5 to 3 kilometers was formed. At this time, people and animals had difficulty breathing. A shock wave formed, which overtook the planes at a distance of 10 kilometers from the epicenter. The Earth was moving like a wave on the sea. It exceeded 6 to 9 points like an earthquake. The instruments were going off the scale. They were out of order. The oak forest with centuries-old trees lay on the ground like grass. The Earth was all swollen 600 meters from the epicenter. The defensive structures were destroyed. The soil on them melted. The tanks were melted and overturned. The towers were knocked away for several dozen meters. The corpses of bulls, sheep, and horses were lying nearby. Nothing remained alive closer to the epicenter. The villages close to the epicenter were evacuated along with the cattle. Those who lived further away were advised to remove fuel and food, covering them with earth. They themselves were to lie down in the garden between the beds. My dad told me that the whole village lay down in the lowlands of their vegetable gardens and covered themselves with sheets. When the explosion thundered, they got up after a while, gathered up their sheets and went home. And many of those who lived far away were not even warned about this exercise, and people and children hearing the explosion ran out in the streets and looked at this mushroom. Of course, they didn't know that they must not look at this mushroom. 45,000 servicemen took part in the exercises. After the explosion, the wind changed and carried the radioactive cloud not to the deserted steppe, but directly to Orenburg city. The results of exercise were classified as top secret for 25 years. And to this day, the information has not been fully declassified. Therefore, when the participants in the operation went to doctors with complaints of malaise, severe headaches, they couldn't say anything about the radiation because they signed a non-disclosure agreement. Research conducted in the 90s showed that residents of more than 500 settlements in Buzuluk, Grachevsky, Sorochinsky and other districts of the Orenburg region suffered as a result of the test. The military left, abandoning the scorch equipment, and the residents returned to their normal lives. They used water bodies and farmed as ever before. Trees blown down by the blast wave were used for firewood. A strong increase in oncology was noted in the Tosk nuclear explosion zone. According to Ural scientists, malignant neoplasms of the respiratory tract exceeded 225%, thyroid glands 260%, skin by 131%, blood lymph by 670%. Also, many people suffered from headaches, migraines, which were even inherited, heart attacks, strokes. Mortality increased twofold. Increased chromosomal disorders were found in residents of these areas. Moreover, this happened twice as often in children. Therefore, I call on everyone, we must together stop the threat of destruction of our planet. Join the action against a nuclear explosion.
Good day. Greetings to all who will listen to this message. This is a message of hope and strength. We do not want the Third World War, potentially nuclear war. Currently, there are several territories in the world in an active stage of conflicts, from Ukraine to Palestine and Lebanon. All the conflicts are connected with the fulfillment of the prophecy, under which the world is to come under control of a single government within the framework of the New World Order. All victim nations near or far from these wars are under media hypnosis through media propaganda. The financial and industrial oligarchy, controlled by 13 families and 36 high Masonic lodges, assisted by messianic and satanic sects, wants to implement the Abrahamic scriptures about nuclear Armageddon, in which 3/4 of the Earth's population is to be destroyed, and the survivors are to serve as slaves. We, who disagree with the New World Order, regretfully state that we are a minority, although we are those most reasonable too, for we have awakened from hypnosis and understand the real situation and the danger that threatens our world. The nuclear threat, which is the most dangerous, will destroy the majority of the population of the Earth, especially living in the Northern Hemisphere. This threat is being confirmed every day by the development of military events in Ukraine, in the Middle East, be it Palestine or its bordering countries. Many countries possess nuclear weapons and can use them without asking their people's opinion. The response of the target countries can be instantaneous and of the same level. And this response will also come automatically and also without asking their people. Again, we are a minority, those who understand and analyze the events of the day. It is necessary to understand that governments of all countries participating in these wars, I repeat, all participating countries without exception, are managed by sects and secret societies that every day manipulate events from the shadows. These sects and secret societies use rituals of the highest psychotronic level to achieve their goals. These rituals give strength and power to one of the warring parties in order to achieve the final desired result. The suffering and blood of martyrs, especially children, are used as the engine for black energy in this catastrophic project. Entities of the energetic order participate, and perhaps even direct the process in favor of the forces of evil on the other side of our world. Our most important battle must be aimed at crushing these entities and their servants on earth, who gave them an oath of allegiance like Faust, the scripture about which is not fiction in fact. We must create a world egregore based on true faith, no matter what religion we belong to at birth, in order to achieve the goal of spiritual liberation of the planet. At this stage, we do not have the political and physical power to resist what is coming, the destruction of the majority of the population. We are weak enough to do something effective in the material sense. However, even in small numbers, we can unite our hearts, our spirit with the higher individuals of the light forces helping humanity, in order to stop this drama and the endless risk in which we live on a spiritual level, and we have the right to say no on our own behalf and on behalf of our sleeping brothers. We say no to war, no to nuclear war. We are the guardians of peace. We are responsible for peace. We will apply the universal laws against the demons and their servants. And the sentence will be the most severe, and the punishment unlimited, and their own damnation will mercilessly turn against themselves. This is the only solution at our disposal, which can still save what can be saved, to restore peace in the conflict zones, and to hinder the occult plans of secret satanic societies that have illegally encroached on our planet and everything living on it. Let us unite our spiritual forces at the first stage. This will help us consolidate our political forces between nations and awaken our sleeping peoples, who are under the occult spell and hypnosis of the media. This is the solution that we propose, and which I believe is the path that will lead us to victory and a new world, so desired for centuries, to a world of freedom and harmony. Victory will be ours. Victory is ours. Thank you for your attention.
Un monde de paix et de liberté. La victoire est à nous. La victoire est pour nous. Merci de votre attention.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Michel, j'habite en Belgique et je suis militant.
Good day. My name is Michel. I live in Belgium. I am an activist in the fight against globalists. In my opinion, globalists organize hunger both in Belgium and in Russia, France, and other countries. Through their manipulations, we have already experienced an artificial pandemic of a simple flu, during which they promoted dubious drugs. Today, everyone understands this. We are constantly being poisoned by pesticides, various chemical products, GMOs, chemtrails. Whether in Belgium or in Russia, the sky is rarely bright blue. NATO, the WEF, other international structures are creating, in my opinion, various projects to enslave man. We are now 90 seconds from the point of nuclear apocalypse, as stated by Rachel Bronson, president of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists.
En Belgique, les armes atomiques. Dans la Constitution belge, l'article 185.
Article 185 of the Belgian Constitution states, the presence of foreign weapons on Belgian territory is prohibited unless a specific law voted by Parliament allows it.
Le 11 octobre 1962, une loi a été votée.
On October 11, 1962, the Belgian Parliament passed a law allowing NATO troops, i.e. the American Army, to be stationed on our country's territory.
B61, entre 15 et 20.
In 1963, Belgium received 15 to 20 B-61 nuclear bombs.
Le traité des Nations Unies, ici dernièrement, qui a eu lieu le 22 janvier 2021.
Each of these bombs has 10 times the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Belgium rejected the UN Treaty of January 22, 2021 on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. This is the position of the Belgian state today. CNAPD, the National Coordinating Council for Action for Peace and Democracy, reported, "We are facing a vital choice. Either we move blindly towards destruction by nuclear weapons, or we accelerate the struggle for peace without nuclear weapons." This is my position, and also the position of the majority of Belgian citizens. We are against globalist programs, wars, in particular, against war in Europe. We understand very well what is happening, that we are not so far from the destruction of the population, and many people will die. Nuclear war and nuclear weapons worry us very much. We must express our disagreement, and we are against the use of nuclear weapons. All the energy of the peoples of the world must be directed to expressing our will against the use of nuclear weapons.
My people, sadly, had been convinced that the Russians were our enemies and that we needed to spend billions of pounds to build up a nuclear stockpile to prevent the Russians from killing us.